Hi, is this Mark?
Yes, this is me.
Hi, good to see you.
Right. Bree.
Yeah.
For a while there, my phone, for some unknown reason, my phone service wasn't working properly, and so I wasn't able to make any calls or receive calls, but now I'm glad my phone service is working again.
Yeah, I tried calling you and it was saying that number's not active, so I'm glad it's working again.
Right. Oh, okay. Good. I'm glad it. Yeah, you were trying. Cause hey, what were you trying to get a hold of me for? To let me know about the meeting?
Yeah, just to remind you of the meeting.
Oh, okay. I hope I'm not calling too early, am I?
No, you're fine. You're fine. I mean, we're still waiting for people. I just wanted to get the meeting started in case people were trying to call in.
Oh, okay. I wonder what the latest is on the streetcars. Are they planning on starting the service any earlier than what they are, or is it
It's on
pretty
the
much
agenda.
gonna be?
It's on the agenda for today.
Oh, okay. I guess also the Montana Brio is also on the agenda too, right?
No, I don't think it is. They're looking at
Oh,
that
okay.
opening in November, though.
So you think that in November is when the Montana Brio is supposed to be starting?
That's what they're thinking right now, yeah.
Oh, okay. So is the Far East Transfer Center, is that complete?
Not yet. No, they're still working on that.
Did they ever get anybody to operate the cafeteria at the in the North Gate? Because whenever I go up there, it's been a long time since I've been up there. But I mean, the last time when I was there, I mean, it's no one has ever. The cafeteria there has been closed.
Oh, I don't know anything about it. Sorry.
Bree, have you ever heard of a magazine called El Paso Scene?
I don't think I have, no.
Oh, before the pandemic, I mean, they used to publish it. It was a monthly mag. It was put out by Mel Cristo Rey Communications publication. They used to publish it every month, and the nice thing about it was that it was all organized according to like different things. Like they would have like at the museum they would have program notes which would give you all the ticketed concerts and stuff like that, and also like and like here's the ticket and stuff like that, in sports. And the nice thing about it was like especially like in the September edition, there would always be a special insert, a multiple page insert, which gave you the performing arts schedule for all the different performing arts organizations.
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately, that's when the pandemic hit, and with all the cancellations and postponements, they did away with that, and so now it's only available as an online subscription.
That's cool. Wow.
You used to be able to get it at all the Walgreens. You could used to be able to pick up a copy at all the Village Inn locations. I really missed the magazine.
Maybe as things settle out, it'll come back.
I hope so. I wish they would bring it. I spoke to them once about that, and they were saying they didn't know about it. They don't know whether they're going to bring it back or not.
Mm. All right, Mr. Lane, we do have quorum. We're just waiting for 3 o'clock.
Yeah. But I'm sure it'll be a heck of a lot nicer when we'll eventually be able to meet again in person.
All right, it's 3 o'clock. Notice is hereby given that the City of El Paso Citizens Advisory Committee to the Board of Mass Transit Department meeting will be conducted on June 8th, 2022 at 3 p.m. In compliance with the requirements that the city provide two-way communication for members of the public may communicate with the City of El Paso Citizens Advisory Committee members during public comment and regarding agenda items by calling 915-233-0020. No participant or conference ID is required, or by calling the above teleconference number.
Sorry, this is Maria. Something happened. We can't hear you anymore.
By emailing Bree Morales at moralesbn@elpasotexas.gov or calling 915-212-6148. Are you able to hear me? I'm getting some error messages over here.
Now, yes.
Yes, I can hear you
Okay.
now.
Let me take roll call and then we'll turn the meeting over to Mr. Lane. Alec Mondello? Not present. Elisa Tamayo? I'm showing you in queue, but muted. Are you here,
Sorry,
Miss
I'm here.
Tamayo?
I don't know
All right,
what
great.
happened. I'm here. Thank you.
Flores?
Present.
Ziza Fravi?
Here.
Excellent. Mr. Lane, I see you're here.
I am.
Sylvia Carrion? Present. Leah Wood?
Present.
Thank you. Rosalie Yanez?
Present.
All right, we've actually got an interesting situation here. We have 3 alternates. Mark Steele, Lori Ray, and Oscar Lazoya are all here. But we only need 2 of them since we already have 7 of the regular members. So one of you will have to not vote. Does anyone want to volunteer to not vote? I mean, you can certainly still listen in and comment, but you just won't be able to vote.
Brianne, this is Rebecca
Yes, ma'am.
Hernandez.
Yes, ma'am.
Did we call roll?
I was in the middle of calling roll right now.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I'm sorry. I was having connection issues. So we've got Mark Steele, Lori Ray, and Oscar Lazoya here as alternates, but we only have 2 regular members missing. So I don't know if anyone wants to volunteer or if Mr. Lane wants to designate someone.
This is
to-
Lori Ray. I'll volunteer not to vote this session.
Thank you. I apologize for that.
Not a problem.
All right, it is 3:03 and I'm turning the meeting over to Mr. Lane.
Well, thank you very much, Bree. I appreciate all of the work that you do for this committee behind the scenes. So thank you very much for that. And thank you, Lori, for volunteering to not vote today. The alternate members are able to vote when there is a regular member who is not present. So that's the reason we have to limit the participation to only 2 of the alternates today. So I want to take this opportunity to welcome everyone today. Thank you for taking time out of your schedule to be with us today. Let's go ahead and move on to item number 2, the approval of the May 11th, 2022 minutes.
I apologize to interrupt. It looks like Ms. Carrion, have you logged on as well? Ms. Carrion, are you present? I'm showing you in the roster. Sylvia? Okay. Go ahead, Mr. Lane. I'm sorry about that.
No worries at all. So that moves us on to item number 2, the approval of the May 11th, 2022 minutes. Bree had sent those out to us. So if a member is able to make a motion regarding those minutes.
Move to approve the minutes of the meeting held May 11th, 2022.
And
I
is this,
second the motion? Sorry.
thank you. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any
Who
opposed?
seconded that?
Yes, we did get a second.
Was it?
Who seconded that real quick?
Rebecca Hernandez.
Rebecca,
Thank
okay.
you, ma'am.
So all in favor was aye, and then any opposed, say nay. And the motion carries. Thank you. That moves us on to item 3, public comment. This is the opportunity for members of the public to share their thoughts and viewpoints regarding matters that can come before the Citizens Advisory Committee for the Board of Mass Transit. At this time, Bree, do we have any member from the public who has signed up to speak?
No, sir.
Okay. Are there any members of the committee who would like to make any public comments at this time?
No, not at this time.
Okay. So with that, then there are no public comments, it seems like. Then we'll go ahead and move on to item number 4, discussion and action on streaming or posting of the meeting video. And Bree, I recall you were going to have somebody from the city share the city's side of that information to aid us.
Yes,
in our discussion.
Mr. Perez is here.
Wonderful. So the reason this is on the agenda was I was approached by a member of the public who wondered if it would be possible, beyond the live stream for this meeting to somehow be made available for anybody who may not be able to join us today during this exact moment in time. So thank you, Mr. Perez, for taking time to join us today. What information would you have to share with us regarding, the availability of that?
So Julio Perez for the record, CDIT, wanted to let you know that we're here to support whatever you guys want to do, really. So the option of being able to record the meeting, which we're doing right now, and certainly being able to make it available publicly, that's doable, and we can do that at any time. All you got to do is determine where you want this posted, if it's on maybe Sun Metro's website or the city's website, somewhere. We just need to know where, and we can upload that video and make it available for everyone to watch.
Where would be some common sites that members of the public would typically go to, Julio, to take a look at city meetings and so on?
Right. So we do have a central repository of all of our public meetings on our city website. And that's normally for city-run meetings, public meetings. And people can choose which one, what video to view. That can certainly be added to that page, if you will, landing page. But you can also, being that you are a mass transit board, separate from, say, city council, you can also decide to post it within maybe Sun Metro's website or a separate page where the mass transit board meetings are also normally found. So you have those options, whether you can place them within the boards and commissions where all the other meetings are. You can place it within Sun Metro website, or you can place it within Mass Transit Board meetings where some of those are also found.
Well,
it's up to you where you want to place it.
Thank you so much. So I think that leads us to some discussion then. What does the committee think about posting or the video online so that any member of the public who would not be able to join us during this time would be able to view the video at a later time at their discretion?
Tom, it's Leah. To me, hi, Julio. I just want to say hi. It's good to see you.
Good to see you.
To me, it makes sense to post it on the Sun Metro webpage, because I think if someone was looking for a meeting recording regarding Sun Metro, that would be the most logical place for them to go. I don't know that people would think, oh, I want to look at a Sun Metro CAC meeting, so let me go to the Mass Transit Board page site or to the site where the central repository that Julio was talking about. Is it possible to post in 2 locations, or would we just be able to post it in 1?
I mean, once the video is uploaded to a central repository, it's just a matter of linking to it, right? So whether you have multiple links leading to that video, I mean, it's up to you at that point.
Okay, we might want to consider posting it in the central repository location and on the Sun Metro website then.
Yeah, I think that would probably be doable. Are there any members of the committee who would have maybe a differing viewpoint from Leah, or maybe who wouldn't want us to post copies of the meeting videos online for any reason?
Well, for those, this is Mark.
Sure.
I think, for people who have online access, it would definitely be helpful. And of course, I don't have online, but I mean, but for those who do, I think it would be helpful.
And I would agree with you. I think it would be just another way for people to learn a little bit more about what the committee does, and maybe down the road choose to become involved, and just see what the areas of discussion are, and maybe see who maybe some of the members of the committee are, if they had any need to reach out and just connect. So I could see a lot of benefit with this. Is there any other discussion that any other member of the committee would like to have regarding this agenda item?
Mr. Lane?
Yes.
If I can just make one comment, this is just based on previous experience. Whenever you have multiple places that you're leading people to, that sometimes it may become confusing, and or when you're trying to train someone, a lot of times it's just easier when you have one location that you always lead them to, versus, or you can go here or you can go over here. So it's just a thought. Just a thought.
And I can definitely value that. And so, it seems like, maybe the counsel we're getting from Julio there is that it would be best to post that in one location. And from Leah, we were hearing it would make the most sense to link that to the Sun Metro website. So thank you very much, Julio, for that. Any other feedback or discussion regarding this item? And
I was just going to add that I can see Julio's point of it might being confusing to have it in two different locations. But I do think if we're going to go with one location, I do think the best location would be the Sun Metro website.
Yeah, and I would agree with that perception as well. So then it doesn't seem like there's too much further discussion regarding this particular item. If I could have somebody make a motion regarding maybe posting our meeting videos to a particular location.
Sir, before we start that, Ms. Carrion did log on.
Okay.
And so now we have an additional alternate member who needs to not vote, either Mark or Oscar, please. Again, you can participate in the discussion, listen in, just not vote. Would either of you be willing to not vote today?
Well, I'll withdraw. Well, yes, all right. I don't need to vote.
Okay, thank
Okay.
you, sir.
So-
I apologize, Mr. Lane, for the interruption.
No, I appreciate your attention to that. It's hard for me to see when people are joining on my end, so thank you very much for pointing that out. So with that, could I have a motion, regarding placement of the meeting video on a particular website?
Yes, I move to place video recordings on the Sun Metro website.
Thank you. And can I get a second on that motion?
Maria Flores, second.
Thank you. We have Lisa Tamayo making the motion. And then we have Maria Flores making the second on that. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? And then the motion carries. So we'll be looking forward to seeing that meeting video placed, on a meaningful site within the Sun Metro website. So thank you, Julio, for your support in that. And again, it was good to see you. So thank you for your continued service to the city. Item number 5, discussion on the return of Sunday service. I asked for this item to be added to the agenda because I keep on hearing, questions, concerns from members of the community about when will Sunday service return. So I wanted to see if there was any update from the city regarding that.
Hi, good afternoon. This is Astrid. Let me see if I could get my camera going. Good afternoon again. This is Astrid. Yes, we are returning to Sunday service on June 26th. So we're very excited. We're back to Sunday and holiday service. So very glad. Sun Metro, we're ecstatic that we're coming back, and we're really glad that we're able to provide some service on Sunday.
Well, I think that is phenomenal news to hear. I know a lot of the community has been waiting for that a while, so I'm excited about that. What does the committee have to think about that?
That'll be good because at least now I'm not going to be stuck at home. At least now if I can on a Sunday, if I want to go out and eat someplace, I'll be able to go do so.
And that's exactly what I'm thinking too. Yes, go right ahead.
Oh, this is Lori Ray, and you said holiday service is returning also. So if we have students that work on like 4th of July and Christmas, they'll be able to get to work.
Yes, ma'am. Isn't that great?
Awesome. Great. Thank you.
That's great. That's great. Oh, Miss Sylvia Cariona, I met you this morning and I see you now. So it's nice to put a face to the name.
And has this information been shared with the public yet?
Yes, sir. We presented at the council meeting yesterday.
Okay.
And we made it public yesterday at the Mass Transit Board. We briefed all the city council representatives, and I believe there's some media scheduled to give interviews to, and so we're spreading the word. It's on June 26th, so we still got a couple of days, but we're in transit centers also notifying the public.
Okay.
We're everywhere right now, social media, everywhere. So we're excited. I hope you're excited too, and we're very glad.
Absolutely. I think that'll be phenomenal news, especially I think, as the price of gas keeps on getting, scary and scarier and more scary. I think that'll give some families and riders an option, maybe to park a vehicle, maybe use public transit if it makes sense in their particular situation. So that's going to be great news for the community.
Oh, yeah. We lost you for a minute there.
Oh, I'm sorry. It'll be great news for the community. So very, very grateful for that. Are there any other comments or discussion that members of the committee wish to have regarding this agenda item?
So that it would be, in other words, the Sunday service would return again this month, this 26th of this month.
Yes, sir. That's correct. The 26th of this month.
Oh, okay,
June
good.
26th.
I'll let people know.
Yeah,
Awesome.
and prior to shutting down the Sunday and holiday service, there was on many routes there was a separate Sunday and holiday schedule. Will those schedules be sort of reactivated on those days?
Yes, sir. On the holidays, it'll go back to Sunday service on holidays.
Okay, so I do appreciate that, and again, just thank you to for bringing that back. I'm very grateful for that. Let's move on to item number 6, discussion and action on creating maybe a subgroup specifically for paratransit within the CAC. I don't know if this is something the committee would like to consider, but we have a lot of discussion, and we've had a lot of discussion focused on paratransit, which is definitely within the purview of the committee. Would there be any benefit to maybe creating a more focused subgroup just to take a look at paratransit needs, or would it be best just to maintain that within the purview of the greater committee? And then so that's why I had asked for item number 6 to be added to the agenda. What does the committee think, regarding that agenda item?
Now, this is Mark Steele. Now, usually, if there is a special thing for paratransit, Julio will usually have that, because I know in the past we used to have there was a thing called the PAC, Paratransit Advisory Committee. That used to be separate from the Citizens Advisory Committee.
Okay, I wasn't aware of that. Do any of the other committees who've served for a while recall anything like that?
Yes. In fact, we had several members that participated in both the CAC and the PAC. And I know the PAC used to meet either monthly or every 2 months. And I know they had, I remember they had reduced those meetings down to a quarterly because there weren't very many issues that were coming up for them to deal with once they resolved the bulk of the issues that needed to be addressed. So I don't know if that's something that the lift is still doing, or if it's something that the new ADA compliance officer will be continuing when they come on board, or what.
Okay, well, I know the city's got their new ADA compliance officer. It's Mary Cruz is coordinating that through a different city department. And so what would, I mean, so thank you for the feedback from the members who've had that historical perspective. What do other committee members think regarding that?
Mr. Lane, before we move on, there's a citizen that wants to speak.
Okay.
His hand is up.
Okay, thank you. So,
Good afternoon. I didn't want to interrupt. This is Rafael Fernandez from the Lift.
okay.
Regarding the PAC, which is the Passenger Advisory Committee, I'm glad Mr. Mark Steele actually brought it up. We used to meet once a month, both in person mostly prior to the pandemic. And this started about 5 years ago, I want to say. And like Leah mentioned, we used to meet we went from 1 month to a quarter. In the past, we had agenda items like 3 and 4 pages. Like she said, it went down to 1 page and then just a couple items. And then we met every quarter. And now we are meeting based on agenda items that come up to us. And then we'll schedule those meetings. But we're happy to go back to those meetings at any time. But usually we used to send out, even during the pandemic, we sent out the invitations and not many people signed up. And when we had the call, there were not many agenda items. So we took the floor just to advise folks what we were doing throughout the pandemic, if that makes sense.
Okay.
And that's still open. And again, we're happy to schedule these meetings at any time. And we could, I don't know, probably come up with a better way of probably, I don't know, putting out a link. Do you have any agenda items? But then again, we could also call the 212-3333 and place any concerns people have. And we'll certainly receive those. But like I said, I'm happy to go back to either way, monthly, quarterly, or based on agenda items.
Okay. Then I saw Mr. Rumkus had his hand up as well. So Mr. Rumkus.
Thank you, Mr. Lane. Yes, Carl Rimkus. I'm a special projects manager here at Sun Metro. Yes, so there were two aspects to the item you placed on here. There's the legal aspect, and then there's probably the practical aspect. From a legal perspective, there's probably not a barrier to creating a subcommittee. But we would have to check the bylaws to see if you have the authority to do that. Having researched the prior paratransit advisory committee, I did not find any enabling ordinance for that or resolution. So I think it was done informally/formally, but I didn't find any sanction for it. And as we've discussed, it just kind of dropped off the radar at some point. So from a legal standpoint, we could research the bylaws to see if you have the authority. Now, from the practicality standpoint, that's a completely different scenario, and that is if you were to make a formal subcommittee as allowed, that would really raise the burden for the members to have to participate in additional meetings and for staff to facilitate those. You may recall that a couple of months ago, we presented the ordinance that we're going to be taking to council that would enable us to meet with the chair and vice chair monthly and with staff. So a lot of these operational issues that you may want to discuss with the lift or paratransit could be addressed in that, and then high level items could then be placed on the quarterly agendas. Then the last item is related to the item as far as the accessibility. Recall that, and I think it was mentioned about an ADA coordinator. So the Citizens Accessibility Advisory Committee is really the one to respond to ADA related and accessibility issues. So in this Citizens Advisory Committee, we would recommend limiting the paratransit interest to the operational side, not the accessibility side. And I did speak to the coordinator over at the CAAC that were available to respond to specific requests related to accessibility on paratransit if needed, as needed. So there is that venue. So our recommendation would probably be to kind of table it for now and see if our monthly executive meetings might allow you to bring some of that interest to the table, and then report back on the quarterly meeting basis after that new ordinance is adopted. So
Thank you, Mr. Rimkus. And when is the time frame for that new ordinance to be adopted? I know we discussed that, I want to say maybe 2 to 3 months ago.
correct. We're hoping to take it to council next month, and so that would allow us, after it's passed, to sit down and set out the quarterly meeting schedule is placed in the ordinance. I could look that up real quick, but every single month we'd have the chair, the vice chair, myself, and whoever else Ms. Mai designates would meet together, and then that's where we'd have the information flow back and forth and set the quarterly agenda for the next coming meeting.
Okay. So that is definitely something for the committee, I think, to keep in mind. What other thoughts do committee members have regarding this?
This is Maria. Personally, I think I would recommend to just discuss it during the CAC meeting based on, the little type of discussion that we've had related to that.
Thank you, Maria. So that is definitely some discussion there. My thought would be, maybe at the moment just to table the discussion, and wait until the new I guess organizing documents for the committee are approved by City Council, and maybe at that time take a look at it and see if there's a need to continue the discussion, or if the new method that Mr. Rumkus was discussing would meet the needs, of the committee and the paratransit riders.
This is Mark. And concerning the paratransit, is that also, are they also going to return with Sunday service, or is that just for the fixed route?
The Sun Metro lift will also be part of the Sunday service. So.
Oh, okay.
Alrighty, so with that, then I think probably, can I get a motion, on agenda item 6, whether it's to table discussion or just to keep the discussion of paratransit within CAC? Who would like to make a motion?
I move to keep that discussion within CAC and table it, I guess. Do we also need to table it?
Okay, so for now, so that is a motion we have to keep the discussion with the CAC and to table further action until
Yes. So
until we get the new organizing document set up. Can I get another member to second that?
Do you want to postpone that for a set period of time or delete it for now? What's the motion?
I guess delete it for now, and then if we need, we can bring it back up.
Perfect. So we have a motion to delete agenda item number 6 from further discussion. Can I get a second on that motion?
I think Sylvia seconded.
Alrighty, thank you, Sylvia. Thank you so much for seconding that. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? Nay. And the motion carries. Thank you. Let's take a look. Item number 7. It's a very hot day out there today. So discussion and updates to the air conditioning system on the lift. I know one of the concerns was maybe some occasional dripping of condensate on some of the passengers. I also know that new buses were sort of showroom today over at the operations center. So who will be sharing information on the updates to the air conditioning system, Bree?
So good afternoon, everyone. My name is Anthony DeKaiser. I'm the Assistant Director for Transit Operations at Sun Metro, and I'll be speaking on this topic today. So for the concern about the condensation in the air conditioner dripping on the passengers on the lift vehicles, the vehicles that we're talking about here that are in question are are called cutaways. And the air conditioned systems in the cutaways that are currently being used at the lift are basically over the center middle part of the vehicle. And the pans that are underneath, if you will, the air conditioner systems, there's condensation that builds in the air conditioned system, especially when the temperatures rise up into the higher temperatures, high 90s, 100s. Normally, the air conditioned systems are meant to, when they're functioning properly, they self-drain. Sometimes these pans, due to wear and tear, get a crack in them, right? And then they don't self-drain properly. This is when some leaks or drippage happens, and it will drip down on the passengers. And so what we do at the lift is, when we do the preventative maintenance, which happens once or twice a month, this is one of the checks that we do at the lift. When we detect a crack where the condensation can drip out during the PM, obviously we change that out. If we get a complaint or a customer brings that to our attention, that evening when we go back in, we'll swap that pan out that catches that condensation, that helps that to naturally drain out in the process how it's supposed to. And also what we do is we keep these pans in stock, so we'll have them on hand so we replace them. So, just as Tom said today, we unveiled 10 new cutaways. And so in these new cutaways, what we did is, when we ordered them, we put we had these new cutaways constructed so that the air conditioners are near the rear of the vehicle, and there'll also be condensations with these air conditioners, but the way that they're built is so that the way that they naturally drain is towards the rear instead of in the middle of the vehicle. So not only are we trying to address the issue with the current vehicles, as we have a replacement plan in place for those, as we replace the vehicles in the future, we moved where the air conditioner is at, so we won't have that problem in the future. And so that's what we, Sun Metro, are doing, along with MV, who's actually oversees, who has the contract for the lift service right now.
Perfect. Well, that's definitely maybe a better placement. Are there any comments from committee members?
I have a comment.
Absolutely.
Aziz, thank you.
Sir.
As we see those air conditioners, when they have a water leak, and you guys doing it twice a month, when twice a month is not enough, do you have a plan to increase the time to do the more often maintenance on them? Like instead of the twice a month will be every 10 days? Well, as you see it, they are not leaking little, sir. They leak a lot. It's not, if it would be a drop, I can tell you, would be understanding. It's just not acceptable, but this is not a drop. This is not 2 drops. This is look like a half of a cup of water you're dropping on somebody. Just literally drops water.
So what we do is, I'm not saying that we do it exactly twice a month. We do it at least twice a month. Sometimes it might even be a month. It depends on how many miles is put on the vehicle. It determines when we do the preventative maintenance schedule on it. But it's twice. It could be up to twice a month, is what I'm saying. But whenever anyone says there's a leak coming from the air condition, that night we'll take it in and we'll try to replace the casing that goes under the the air condition so the system will work properly again and start draining the right way. But as soon as someone brings a complaint and says, hey, this one is leaking, that is, we'll address it that evening when we bring the vehicle in. And we also do it twice a week to a month when we do the service, check it ourselves.
Okay.
So we do
Let me be
it during the PMs, and then we'll address it if anybody complains. So we have a system to do it when we do the preventative maintenance and address it if there's a complaint on a particular vehicle where if it cracks due to wear and tear in between the preventative maintenance.
I would like, let me be a little sarcastic. So you're making a statement. When the bus breaks down, then you fix it. You don't do maintenance, you mean fix it before it breaks. So you don't do that. So you
Yes,
guys
that's what
letting me
preventative
take a
maintenance
shower
is. That's
under
why
the
there's
under
scheduled
the
preventative
AC.
maintenance in between. So we try to catch it before the bus breaks down.
So that's what, as I mentioned, why don't you do the jobs more frequent? Those maintenance, we don't see those things happens. So definitely somewhere we are making it, exaggerating it, or you guys are not following up on it.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we can put into place daily checks for the drivers to check the air conditioned system as they bring the units in. And if there's any water leaking, we'll address it at that time. We can implement that also. So there's another check to ensure that the condensation is not coming out of the pan that contains the water that's coming from the condensation. Yes, we can do that.
So the bus is in the field, is running,
Yes.
and the passenger calls at 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning. He complains about it, and the drivers to get to the office could be 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 10 o'clock, and 6, 7 hours later. So how many passengers would need to get affected by it to then the bus gets there, and hopefully by then will be fixed for tomorrow, not gonna happen again.
Is your specific question, can we try to do a bus change immediately upon the complaint of water leaking? Is that what you're asking me? Because we can try to do that too.
The bus leaking,
Yes.
sir, is leaking water.
Yes.
It's dripping. I'm just leaking. It's a dripping, literally drips.
Yeah.
Anthony, if I may, Mr.
Yeah, go
Steve,
ahead,
Anthony Raphael from the left. Yes, sir. The moment a call comes in, not only for AC, it could be for anything really, especially AC in the summertime. Any call that comes in, it goes to dispatch from the driver, filters down to the maintenance personnel. They will look for the immediate bus available and do a bus swap as soon as they're able to. It could be within the hour though, by the time they get to the passenger, or probably less depending on the location where they are at. I hope I answered your question, sir.
You did answer, but Mr. Raphael, I can tell you, I seen it different. Really, literally, I see it different. Is the passenger or the bus has a problem? The dispatch tells them just adds more passenger or more pickups to the driver, and just the driver has to keep going. And even so, scenario as the bus is running out of gas, or was one time was it low on the air. I can tell you on Monwood and Saragossa, the bus was low on the air on the tire, and it tells the dispatch, I'm a low on the air. Okay, go on the North Loop and we will take care of it for you. All the way to North Loop. So, and the low air on
Mr.
I'm
sorry, sir. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry, sir. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, go ahead. Was it just
mentioned one scenario? I know exactly what you're saying, sir. And there are times where dispatchers, not to avoid the passenger being late to where they're going, depending on the scenario, they might ask them to continue as safely as possible to the next drop-off point, and help the passenger get to where they have to go. And by that time, maintenance personnel or another driver can meet them at that location to swap out the bus. Now, when there's a rear tire, since they have two,
If I
depending which
could,
tire.
to just share with the committee
Depend-
that the agenda item is about air conditioning, updates on the air conditioning system to the lift. And I think we're straying a little bit beyond that right now. I think it's a very valid point that Aziz is bringing up. Maybe we could put that
Probably
on
talking
the
about,
agenda for next month.
yeah, I brought up a scenario as of a maintenance and
Absolutely.
the mechanic,
I
what
understand
they
that.
do the job. Yeah, I know we were getting out of the subject.
I think we're
I'm
straying
sorry for
a
that.
little, and that's no worries at all. We're straying a little bit beyond that. But I think that would be an excellent maybe discussion item to maybe have a presentation, maybe on, maybe maintenance schedules and so on. I think that'd be really cool. And are there any other further discussion items for agenda item number 8? Then with that, I'm sorry, that was item number 7. I apologize. So, but that moves us on to agenda item number 8, discussion on streetcar hours and any proposed changes to the schedule. So we just heard today that Sunday service is going to be returning for Sun Metro and the lift. So we, I guess, want to know, will there be any changes to the streetcar schedule?
We can't hear you, Everett. You're still on mute.
I'm on mute.
No, I was speaking
There we
to Mr. Everett Esparza. There you go. We can hear you now.
Good afternoon, everybody. This is Everett Esparza, Chief Streetcar Officer. Going back to discussion on the service profile that we're currently doing, right? So it's Thursday through Saturday from 4 p.m. to 11 p.m. However, we are looking now at a couple of different scenarios to ramp up again to a 40-hour work week effective in September. Okay, so for now, we'll stay with our current schedule. And come September, we're looking at a possibility of a 40-hour work week with Tuesday through Saturday, perhaps from 2 to 10, all week, or maybe 3 to 11 p.m. possibly, or a scenario to where maybe a Wednesday and Thursday we work for 8 hours, possibly 3 to 11 p.m. And maybe the weekend, which is when there's more activities in the downtown area, we would do a 12-hour day from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. because that's around the span of hours that seems to be the highest ridership generators for us around that time for now, based on our ridership totals that we keep up monthly. As far as Sunday service, there's a possibility also, depending on the, maybe special programming, something that is actually occurring on a Sunday. That could also be considered maybe for special events that we do operate on Sunday, or perhaps even a regular Sunday schedule as well. So we're looking at all the different types of scenarios right now. And maybe around August, we'll be ready to go ahead and bring you an update on the one that's chosen for us to start up our 40-hour work week again. Okay, and that will go into conjunction with the, and I know it's kind of early to start talking about Winterfest, but that scenario that we picked will take us in through that Winterfest starting in November and December, which last year we operated the last 2 weeks of December to encourage people to come into the downtown area and take advantage of all the activities for the Winterfest. So we did start earlier and we were finishing up later the last 2 weeks. So based on that scenario from last year and the scenarios that we're working now, I think that we will kind of come a schedule in between there that will cover the Winterfest festivities and all the other activities that occur in the downtown area. I'll take any questions if you have any.
Absolutely. Are there any questions?
All right. So in August, once we have the scenario chosen that will fit for our next upcoming service profile, we'll make it available to you all and bring it up for discussion then.
Thank you very much for that information. I'm very grateful for the information you've shared today. With that, then that moves us on to item number 9, the opportunity for committee members to request a staff report on items of interest over which the board has authority. Discussion of items announced at this meeting will take place during the next regularly scheduled meeting. So members of the Citizens Advisory Committee, are there any, I guess, requests for reports or presentations that you would have for next month's meeting?
Mr. Lane,
Yes.
I made a request regarding the pedestrian audible signals
Mm-hmm.
in the downtown area, but I was not clear about the response. I know I received a response, but I didn't get it. So I want to request that if possible. I don't know if it would be within the possibility of this committee to address that.
Thank you, and we have responded to your request on that, and we thought it was more appropriate for the Accessibility Advisory Committee to handle that particular request.
Okay.
Are there any other reports or requests that committee members would have? Aziz, would you like that report on maybe maintenance, you know, how that, what the maintenance cycle looks like?
I was going to send you an email. Sure, that would be a great one.
Okay.
Thanks.
Absolutely. Any other requests for next meeting time? And it does not look like we have any requests at this time. So if members of the committee have thoughts that come to mind that can be discussed during the next meeting, please get those emailed over to Bree so those can be added to the agenda or considered for the agenda for next time. So with that, that moves us to item number 10, the call to adjourn the meeting. So I want to thank everyone for taking time this afternoon to join us. We've come to the end of the agenda with a few minutes left to spare before 4 p.m. I suppose we could hang around and entertain each other, but it's probably appropriate to just adjourn the meeting. So if I could have a member make the motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
You can't do that, sir. I think you stepped aside from voting for the rest of the
Oh,
meeting.
okay, I'm sorry, I apologize.
That's no concern with that. Can I have another member make the motion to adjourn the meeting?
I will, Aziz.
Thank you, Aziz. Can I get a second on that?
I second.
Thank you. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed, say nay. And I want to thank everyone. The meeting concludes at 3:48 p.m. I want you all to have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you so very much for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you.